And that is the whole point of the wudu. If you are not using the washing, the ritual washing as it appears in the Quran to be clean, and you're using it for any other ritual, then you are missing the point. Assalamu alaikum, good friends, welcome to another discussion. In this presentation I'm going to talk about the wudu, and Muslims know what the wudu is. It's a ritual washing. It's a properly configured sequence of washing the face, washing the hands, including the arms, washing the feet, etc., etc. And they call this the wudu. And the Muslim can't get through his day without at least once or twice performing that wudu. And that wudu, you have to do it. Whether you live in Antarctica, whether you live in wherever you live, you have to perform the wudu. And the wudu is all about, preparing for the salah. And that is the idea of wudu. And that word doesn't appear in the Quran. Some of you might have seen a strange phenomenon of a Muslim person or Muslim guy at some public bathroom trying to get his foot into the basin because they're trying to comply with the exact methodology of performing that wudu. So I'm going to talk about that wudu now. And let me first show you, when you look at the wudu from the books, and these books are the books that I used to teach our children and I myself when we at the Muslim schools, when we are toddlers, we enter these Muslim madrasas schools, and these things are drilled into us, and we have to memorize the way to make wudu, when you need to make wudu, what breaks your wudu, because wudu, or that ritual state of being washed, is something that can be nullified or cancelled by certain actions. And so you'll get books like this. This is the book Fiqh Sunnah. Let me just show you. I've got the book here with me. And it's a very famous book. It is a book that in fact captures one of the topics in here is the wudu. And I want to show you something about how these books, these fiqh books, deal with subjects like this. Look at this. Like, this is the wudu, right? And now in the Holy Quran there is a verse that addresses the wudu, and the main part of this discussion is going to be that verse. Now in the Quran there is a verse that relates the verse that speaks about this practice of washing, regular washing. But I want to show you something before I get there. The fiqh books, the books of Islamic religious rulings and laws, are many. There are thousands of these books, and these books are the books that drive the madrasas. Right? The madrasas are not driven by the Quran. The madrasas of Muslims are driven by these books, the hadith books, the fiqh books. And let me show you this fiqh book. This is Fiqh Sunnah. And when it deals with the wudu, this is very interesting. I need to show you this. What you'll find is that I've indicated in yellow the parts where this book actually, now what you see is the word wudu is the heading, and then the parts where the Quran is cited are in yellow, and the parts where hadiths are cited I've done that in purple or pink. Now look at that. This is typically a book. I've just taken snapshots out of this book because I didn't want to draw in the book. These are all hadiths. And the Quran there's a real dearth of Quranic verses. Right? There's one extract from the Quran. But most of the time, we are looking at the narrations of men, singular narrations of men who tell stories about the issue of wudu. And as you can see, the verses of the Quran are very few and far in between. Most of the time they are citing people who speak about seeing what the Prophet did. There's one there. Just quickly look at that one. I'm not just an example. And Abu Huraira said, أن رسول قال لولا أن أشق على أمتي لأمرأتهم بالسواك عند كل وضوء. If I did not fear hardship or difficulty on my people, I would have ordered them, I would have commanded them to brush their teeth at every wudu. They would then add things and elucidate and expand on the wudu, and that is the pattern of these fiqh books. It generally takes the Quran, a little bit of Quran, and then a lot of hadith, and it creates the law out of those two, right? So it will take something that Abu Huraira saw one day, and that will become inserted as divine law into the law of Islam. Or any other Sahabi, if they saw something the Prophet did. So in other words, the Rasul, the message bearer of what is divine, is no longer just the Prophet. It is also those who saw or claim to have seen the actions of the Prophet. But I'm not going to start with this. I'm not going to use this as my guideline to what is wudu, because then we are trapped within hundreds of hadiths, and I think we want to be anchored within the Quran. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the actual verse of the Holy Quran. There's one verse essentially that deals with the wudu. It is in chapter 5 verse 6. That's a lengthy verse. It's a lengthy verse, and in this book Fiqh Sunnah they only cite a third or a quarter of that verse. They never go through the entire verse. So we only saw a partial citing of this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cite you the entire verse on wudu. Without all those hadiths, we're going to look at only the Quran. Because if you're going to look at the thousands of hadiths, that is the basis of these scholastic differences, where people who don't wipe their feet blame those who wash their feet, and it becomes a nightmare. There are so many differences, and Muslims really go to war because of these differences. But if we look at the Quran on its own, the verse on its own, you will be able to see what I see, and that is that washing is a very, very simple, straightforward aspect of the deen. Now this is chapter 5 verse 6. You can go and look at it. It's in Surah Al-Ma'idah. Now this is a simple literal translation of the verse. Follow this with me. Let's go through this. It says first, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, and that in the Quran means that the believers are called to attention. Heed this, those of you who made the affirmation. And then it continues, إِذَا قُمْتُمْ إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ, when you have risen to attend the sessional adherence. Now the word salah, when you have risen for the salah, إِذَا قُمْتُمْ إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ, when you have risen for the salah. And we know that salah now means adherence, and when we speak about the specific incidents of salah, then it is a session of adherence. Right. When you have risen to attend the sessional adherence, فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ إِلَى مَرَافِقِ, then wash your faces and your hands up to the elbows. Right? وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ وَأَرْجُلِكُمْ وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ إِلَى كَعْبَيْنِ, additionally anoint partially your heads and your feet ankle high. Wa in kuntum, right? So that is really the part of the verse up to the fourth row there. That is really the only part that was cited in the book, right? In this text, only from part 1, first row to the fourth row. But it is very important that we read the entire verse, because this verse contextualizes and offers rationale and a motivation of why this is. Right? At the end we find the rationale. So let's see what it says further is وَإِن كُنْتُمْ جُنُبًا فَطَهَّرُوا. Also, when you are unclean, then cleanse yourselves. It's a logical instruction. It's a logical instruction, a message from the Master and the Lord of the universe. It has to at some point include an instruction for human beings to be clean. Don't you think so? We find filth and smelly people offensive. And so I would say that the book would be lacking if there was never a verse that instructs humanity to be clean and to be hygienic. So it continues, وَإِن كُنْتُمْ جُنُبًا فَطَهَّرُوا. When you are unclean, cleanse yourselves. وَإِن كُنْتُمْ جُنُبًا فَطَهَّرُوا وَإِن كُنْتُمْ مَرْضَى. After you recover from an illness, أو على سفر, or have been on a journey, أو جاء أحد منكم من الغائط, or if any of you returns after defecating. Now you see, this is our Lord and Creator speaking to us. أو لامستم النساء, or returns after having been intimate with women. Right. فَلَمْ تَجِدُوا مَاءً. So here we're going to just quickly, I'm going to explain this, but should you not have access to water, you should cleanse. So then you should cleanse with water. Cleanse with water is left implicitly there, because it only then goes on to say, and you can't find water. So in other words, if you've been with women, if you've been sick, if you've been on a journey and you can't find water. So in other words, clean with water. But if you can't find water, فَتَيَمَّمُوا سَعِيدًا طَيِّبًا, you should resort to pure earth. فَامْسَحُوا بِوُجُوهِكُمْ وَأَيْدِيكُمْ مِنْهُ, with which you should wipe your faces and your hands. Now comes the key moment in the verse. The key moment in the verse is coming right now. مَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيَجْعَلْ عَلَيْكُمْ مِنْ حَرَجٍ. Allah does not want to put hardship on you. Allah does not want to put difficulty on you. Allah does not want to put inconvenience on you. وَلَكِنْ يُرِيدُ لِيُطَهِّرَكُمْ. Rather, His intention is to cleanse you. His intention is to cleanse you. وَلِيُتِمَّ نِعْمَتَهُ عَلَيْكُمْ, and in fulfillment of His goodwill towards you. Hopefully, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ, hopefully you will show appreciation. There we have it. Now, I've shown you the verse, and this is really the verse about wudu. It speaks about the washing. Now, I have shown you, the multitude of hadiths around this simple instruction, a very simple instruction. Why have people invented a multitude of rules and regulations around a simple instruction? Because the instruction simply says, when you have attended, or when you have risen to attend the salah, you should wash your hands and your face. Makes perfect sense. When you are going to engage with people, when you are going to be interacting with people, when you are going to be shaking people's hands and embracing people, you need to be civil. You need to be decent and clean your hands and clean your faces. Because what is going to happen is you're going to come into contact with people at a salah session, at a meeting of people. You will be in close contact with people. You will stand up next to them, you will interact with them, you will touch them, and the instruction is to be clean. Don't go with smelly feet. If your feet are smelly, wash it. If your hair is bushy and untidy, brush your hair. And that is what is meant here. Anoint partially your heads and your feet ankle high. Don't enter a company, a session where people are with an unkept appearance. You clean yourself, you wash your hands, you wash your face, you tidy up your hair. And the word anoint, masah, could be interpreted in that way. It is to tidy up, to clear, to make it nice. Your feet also, to make sure that your feet are clean. And that is the requirement of salah. It is not a ritual activity. There are no rituals. Islam is not a religion of rituals. Now, people have attempted to reduce Islam to a obstacle course. We have a sadistic God that puts you through an obstacle course, make your life difficult every day, put you through small bits of hardship every day from morning till evening, and that earns you senseless rituals. When I was younger, they taught us that when you pass a wind, then you need to go and refresh your ritual ablution or the washing before you can go to salah. But what's the logic in that? When you pass wind, the wind doesn't affect your hands and your face, but you have to go and wash your hands and your face. So they've reduced it to a mindless ritual, a ritual that makes no sense. So it is basically, it is like the Zoroastrian and like the Hindu rituals that have no meaning, no real, a massive symbolic meaning, but no practical logical explanation. So let's continue to understand this verse. Right. So the first part of the verse is when you're going to interact with people, you cleanse your hands, cleanse your face, tidy your hair, sort your feet out so that you don't have bad smelly feet or scruffy feet. You get to the company like that. Now comes the next part. Also, so when you are unclean, this is a more general requirement now. When you are unclean, when you smell, when you're sweaty, when you have done hard work and you have perspired, then cleanse yourself. Cleanse yourself. Here, the Mufassirin, those who try and complicate Allah's word, have invented the whole idea of ritual showers and ritual ghusls. And the Muslim almost feels empty or naked without those rituals. The simple rule is, when you are unclean, then cleanse yourself. If that means taking a head to toe shower, so be it. Right. So when you are unclean, then cleanse yourself. But the further conditions then that are given, when you should be clean, or when you should use water to clean yourself, are when you recover from an illness. Very logical. When you've recovered from a serious illness, we know the importance of washing thoroughly with soap and water. When you've recovered from an illness, we need to remove any remnant of the sickness, the virus, the bacteria, the fungus, whatever has attacked your body. And washing, we know that washing is an effective way of cleansing yourself. When you were sick, or when you have been on a journey, we know that when you've been out of your city and out of your town and you return, you might be spreading something that you might have picked up elsewhere. And so again, when you come from a long travel, you need to again wash. Next one is when you have gone to the bathroom, you should wash. You should wash. You should wash your hands. You should cleanse yourself, because you might have dirt on your hands or on your whatever. You've touched the doors, you've touched the seats of the toilet, the bacteria, the viruses, etc. might be there. You have to wash before you shake somebody's hand, or before you meet people, or after you've been intimate with women. You see, there's a chance of sharing body fluids. Another opportunity, another occasion where the Quran instructs you to wash. But the Quran goes on to say, but should you not have access to water, then soil will be a good second option. And then finally, the key word here is Allah's intention is not to put you through any hardship. Rather, His intention is to cleanse you. So, La yurid alaykum min al-haraj. The words here, the second last line there that you see there, it says clearly this is not a mindless ritual. It's there. It's there. It says Allah's intention is not to put you through any hardships through mindless efforts. Allah's intention is to cleanse you. And that is the whole point of the wudu. If you are not using the washing, the ritual washing as it appears in the Quran to be clean, and you're using it for any other ritual, then you are missing the point. You see, this verse simply states that when you come from the bathroom, you have to wash your hands. Of course, you should have washed your parts where the private parts, but wash your hands and purify, cleanse yourself before you interact with people again. You see, so the verse itself is simple, but the priests, the scholars for dollars, the story writers, the inventors of new religion, they've piled on a million other rules and regulations, as you can see there. All of that, nothing, none of this is in the Quran. None of all these hundreds and hundreds of pages that deals with hadiths, and none of it is dealing with a simple verse in its fullness, speaking about what is the point of wudu. When you go to salah, you ask yourself, am I clean? Did I touch anything dirty? Am I generally in a state of cleanliness? Then yes. And then you would not waste your time to go and clean yourself when you are clean, because that would be pointless. When you come from the bathroom, when you come from being intimate with women, when you come from a long journey, those are opportunities for you to cleanse. When you have become dirty or filthy due to work or play or whatever, you need to wash. And washing could be anything from a full body shower to a local wash. If you go to the bathroom, why would you wash your whole body? You would wash the hands, the parts of you that perhaps come into contact with filth. And my brothers and sisters, if you want to have a complicated religion filled with rituals, imitate the Hindu religion, imitate the Zoroastrian religion, imitate all the other mindless religions that rely on senseless rituals, then you go to the hadiths. If you want to be on the law which Allah has prescribed for you, one verse, then you look at this verse. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.